Well, Slutsha, how you do, buckaroos? How the heck are you? I wasn't sure if I was going to do a video tonight or not, so I really didn't advertise it any. Got home from work, so I thought, well, what the hell? Since I'm off tomorrow, I know most of you aren't, but since I am off tomorrow, this is a good time for me to have a couple to relax. I'm trying to fix something here, but it's not letting me go there. There we go. That was weird. Anyways, I digress. Hold on a second. Let me fix this here. And just that. Hopefully that'll get me right where I need to be. You probably figured out I'm not really in this little rainy house. So it hasn't been raining today, but it has the last few days here. So I thought I'd make a nice backdrop. Oh, didn't mean to do that. Anyways, I digress. So I didn't. Sometimes I have it poured because I want to take a picture before the video, but I didn't today. So I could just pop them right in front of you. What I have here is the Next Evolution Anniversary Ale barley wine. Barley wine aged in toasted oak barrels. This one comes in at 11%. It is a big one. I'm going to pour it for you here using my snifter. I'm guessing it's probably about an 8-ounce snifter, maybe a 10-ounce. I'm going to get about half a can in here, maybe a little more. Pour that for you. Cilantro. I'm going to let that warm a tad, and I'm going to pour some whiskey here for you, again, right in front of you. Some of them trying to wind down to get my decanter empty. This is the decanter that my daughter had given me. Dad joke loading, it says. What I have in here is the Pinckney Bend Rusted Corn Whiskey. It's at 100 proof. A very nice product. Since I'm getting near the end of it, this is going to be my only video and drink of the evening. I'm going to give myself a rather generous pour. Right in the neighborhood of about 3 ounces. Using my Bourbon Society of the Ozarks glass. Man, that's nice. That's nice. I usually just pour this in a whiskey neat glass or the Pinckney Bend glass that I have, their taster glass they give you. But I want to put it in an actual Glencairn. I can really concentrate that nose. Oh, man, that is nice. That rusted whiskey, that corn whiskey really soaks up those barrel notes. A lot of vanilla. You might feel some toffee notes in there for whatever reason. And I think it's oak, but it's triggering something. It kind of feels like roasted peanuts to me on the nose. I don't remember that when I've had this before, but that's what this bottle is giving me. Bourbon Society of the Ozarks. I'm off tomorrow. As I said earlier, and it's supposed to be nice. So I don't know if we'll get out and go anywhere, but I like to get outside because I've got my cocktail smoker. I like to get out and smoke a cocktail or two using some of these woods here. Got out there, was off yesterday and was able to do some of that as well. But Sunday starts a new week, so I was off Sunday, worked Monday, then off Tuesday and Wednesday, and then I'm on the rest of the week. It's a nice, easy drinking whiskey, though. Flavors, aromas aside, the viscosity of this whiskey, the mouthfeel is very pleasing. But I am getting near the end of it here. I really need to concentrate on it. And I tend to do that as I start whittling all my bottles down instead of just finishing one off. And I don't do it on purpose, to be honest with you. It's kind of, I get in the mood for different things. And the next thing I know, I got everything is right about there. And so lately I've been finishing off a few because I had too many open anyway. I mean, I'm not a collector, so I'm not one of those guys that has 200 bottles of bourbon around. I don't make that kind of money. And I think the secondary market is what's ruining everything for bourbon. There's a lot of bourbons that should regularly be about 25, 30. Others should be about 50, 55. Instead, they're selling for about 3, 4 times more than that on the secondary market. And people are just stupid enough to buy it. But a lot of bourbon drinkers tend to be like lemmings. Somebody tells them they have to have this in their collection, they go out and get it instead of just buying what's good. Buy what you like. And I try to buy as local or as small as humanly possible. On my bar cart right now, I'm looking at 2 local bourbons. I'm looking at uh, a couple from the Kansas City area, one from St. Louis, a couple from that I picked up when we were in Oklahoma, and it's all small distillery product. I don't have any of the usual suspects here because I'm not trying to create a specific image. But look, I've got X brand. I got X brand now. I just don't understand that mentality. There's so many great products out there from small distillers. Forget all that big crap. You don't need it. I mean, it's great to try once, buy it once if you've never had it before. But if you've got to search the secondary market and pay 3 or 4 times what the sticker price is, well, you're an idiot. Secondary market is everything that's wrong with the bourbon game these days. Anyways, we'll circle back to that. Oh, maybe no. I need to let it go, Tom. Let it go. Okay, I'll do my best. I really like this barley. So I am a fan of the barley wine, but for me, a barley wine needs to be aged in something. It doesn't necessarily have to be a spirits barrel, but oak will really help dial the sweetness back. It really helps clean it up. That's the issue with a lot of barley wines. If they're not aged in barrel, you have that residual lingering sweetness. Man, this beer is just gorgeous. In this case, you've got this beautiful big 11% barley wine that really benefits from that toasted white oak. Ah, it's just freaking brilliant. Set that down a minute. I'm going to focus on this whiskey. Oh, man. So, yeah, I want to finish off. I need to concentrate. I drank some of this for a video last night. I need to really finish it up. So that'll be my concentration tomorrow to empty this because I would like to use it for something else. Let's tied up that decanter for a couple months now. So we're time to go on through it. So earlier this week, I finished off the holiday Rickhouse bourbon that I bought back in August, but I still got some of the Rickhouse soft wheat. So I really need to work through that too. I'm trying not to open anything new. My birthday's coming up in May, so I'm trying not to open anything new until we get there. I think I've got about 5 or 6 unopened bottles at the moment. Like I said, I'm not a collector, but I tend to buy stuff when we go somewhere and then put them off to the side. And I get in the mood to try things, so I go ahead and open a lot of them, and I get to where I think I've got too many open. So then I say, okay, these are going to sit here for a minute. But because my wife and I are saving for our anniversary trip here in a few months, trying not to buy anymore for a while either. So I'm not going to work through this back stock that I have. Might buy a bottle here or there depending on the occasion. If something, becomes available that I want. But yeah, I do tend to avoid those names that everybody knows. In in most cases, I've had them, right? I have no need to have a specific bourbon or whiskey or rye or anything in my collection. I don't have a collection. I have whiskeys that I drink. So to have a specific one or a go-to, I really don't. I just buy the stuff I know I like. And I try to stay as small as humanly possible because Tiakida is local to me here in Springfield, a sister company of Springfield Brewing Company. I try to buy a lot of those products because they're good and they're local. I like to feed the local economy rather than, those other folks. And the products are good. I've got one Restless Spirit left, some Gully Town single malt. I bought two single malt American single malt whiskeys from them when we were there back in August, and I've finished one, but I got a little bit of this one left. The difference between the two is the one was aged much like you would an Irish whiskey in used bourbon barrels, while this one was done in new charred oak. While the mash was the same, some straight American single malt, it is 100% barley. New charred oak barrels, double distilled and pot stills. Yeah, so you've got more barrel notes from this particular one. Uh, Man, that was good. Oh, and I've been doing a lot of cocktails lately. I've been rather obsessed with amassing different bitters. Here's toasted almond here that I just happened to randomly grab. But right there is a standard orange that you'd have, but I also got the cranberry and cardamom there that are nice for different things as well. But my other obsession is making different flavored simple syrups. The strawberry citrus, and recently tried a coconut key lime, which I really enjoyed. So I've got a couple others I want to work on. I'm going to do a blueberry lemon lemongrass. Get the flavor out of the lemon, but I like to use that. I'm gonna try to use this lemongrass because I think it will add more to the aromatics of the simple syrup, which will add to the aromatics of the cocktail. So I want to see how that works. I haven't tried that one yet. Man, that is a nice whiskey. A lot of big oak, a little bit of spice in the finish. Really, what notes there or really depends on you. Yeah, I tell folks it's between you and your palate. You're not going to taste things that you're not familiar with. For me, I use a lot of spices. I do. I like to cook, so I use a lot of different spices. So for me, yeah, I definitely feel some cinnamon. Again, I mentioned cardamom earlier. You might feel cardamom. Again, that is between you and your palate. Some allspice. I pick up a little bit of ginger in there as well. You might even find some clove and nutmeg in there. Again, it's just going to come down to your familiarity with the spices. Oh man, that's a good beer. And as I let this warm up here, it becomes more aromatic. Really, the aromatics really come to life at about 50, 55 here. Damn, that's a good beer. Again, anybody watching, if you ever have any questions or comments, you can put it up on the screen. I'll answer almost anything, unless you're just a colossal douche nozzle, and then I'm not going to give you a platform. I get those folks from time to time. I've been doing these videos since 2011, so you're going to pick up some haters along the way, I guess. I just don't get the mentality. It just doesn't make sense to me. Why do you want to follow somebody that you don't like? Why do you want to just troll me constantly? I mean, what kind of a shallow, empty life do you have to be that way? I just don't get that hater mentality, but I think a lot of social media kind of breeds that. These are the folks that have always been bullies, and now they've got a larger platform that embraces their ignorance and narcissism. But even though everybody else can see they're bullies, they don't see themselves that way. And for whatever reason, they think they're helping you. They're being constructive. No, they're being destructive is what they're being. But you're not going to change their mind. An ass hat's always going to remain an ass hat. Anyway, Sludge. Oh man. So I feel like I'm picking up. I mentioned some toffee earlier, but I really feel like I'm picking up some maple notes there, especially in the finish. Some brown sugar because you feel a hint of molasses in there. But yeah, I really feel a little bit of maple there right near the ear. Ugh. Yeah, I do like this beer. I wasn't sure that I drank anymore this season. Well, this year I buy extra so I can tug it back. Um, but then it got a little chilly, and then we had some rain. It warmed up today, but it was getting cooler in the evenings, and I was kind of just in the mood to have one really good beer to relax by, and do one video, and then I don't know, maybe watch an hour or so television with the wife and call it a night. Ugh. See if I can get the rest of this can in here now. There we go. Oh, look at that. Man, that's nice. That is a fine beer, man. I'm going to set that down. Work on the rest of this whiskey. So that'll be my goal probably tomorrow, is to finish up the rest of the Pinckney Bend Rusted Oak whiskey. Man, I don't know what I'll focus on next. Trying to see what I've had here the longest. The holiday, I was looking at my Restless Spirits, and the holiday got about at the same time. So I'm just going to focus on one of them, and I got a little bit of this one left that I got at that same time. But it's an Irish whiskey. It is a cask strength Irish. I don't know that I've only got this much left, so I'd hate to hang on to it for next St. For some of the stuff I just kind of tuck away for next St. Patrick's Day, but there's only that little bit left. So that's another one I've been debating whether I should finish it off or not. But all these I got about the same time. That Irish whiskey, the Holiday I showed you, and the Gully Town. So those are probably next on my hit list. Other than what else I have over here. Oh, I've got the Duffy's Run vodka also from Restless Spirits. I got about the same time, so I think I'm gonna work on those one at a time because I usually kind of go, I'm in the mood for something different all the time, and it kind of ends up where I whittle them all down, but I don't do it on purpose. But I need to just focus on one and finish it off. So I'm gonna focus on this Pinckney Bend Rusted whiskey first because I've had it since April of last year, so it's been around about a year, so it really needs to go first. Hasn't been in the canner that long, but nevertheless. Then I'll have to decide what I'm in the mood for that particular time, whether I concentrate on the holiday, the Restless Spirits, or the Two Stacks Irish. That Irish is really good, though, man. Even though we're past St. Patrick's, you tend to forget about Irish, but I do love me some Irish whiskey. It's what is very interesting. It's the first cask Irish that I've had. It's got a real interesting blend to it, the Two Stacks. Two Stacks Whiskey Company, product of Ireland. So the blend it's 40% dark grain, aged in virgin oak casks. It's 40% light grain, aged in bourbon casks. 8% pot still, aged in Oloroso and sherry casks. And then 10% double malt aged in bourbon cask, and then 2% peated malt in bourbon cask. So it is a really interesting whiskey. So that might be my next go-to. The next one I focus on. I do want to get rid of the Pinckney Bend first, but there's really not enough there to try to hang on to next to St. Patrick's Day, which is what I was debating. But as I look at that bottle, we probably better finish that off. So anyways, I digress. I'm going to focus on this whiskey a little bit. I did visit the Pinckney Bend Distillery last April. I was hoping to get back there later in the year, but we never had a chance. I was hoping to get back there this year, but it doesn't look good for me either with everything else we got going on. Because I really enjoyed it. It was a nice tour. And I timed it perfect because they only do it at specific times, but I caught them right when they were opening. So I was the only person in that particular tour group. So I got a lot of extra attention and a few extra samples. Oh, excuse me, which made me very open to buy a lot of product, which I did. I bought a lot of product there. So again, I love the products, but for me, it's all about the customer service. I spent all of my life in literally all of my life in a customer service business of one kind or another. Kind of grew up in a catering business with my dad and mom. Sort of gravitated towards some other things, but it was always one form or another of customer service. So for me, it's all about the customer service. If your products are great, that's awesome. But if your customer service sucks, I don't care how good your products are. I'm not going to buy them. But not only were the products really good, man, but the customer service was impeccable as well. The kid doing the tour was very informative, very knowledgeable, and very friendly. And then when we went over to the other side to look at the products to purchase, he offered me a few more samples to try some things. So, and I bought a lot of stuff, so his technique worked. But for me, soft sell works better than hard sell. And this kid did his job. He showed me the products, but then he backed off and let me sell myself. And that's what the best salesmen do. They don't give you the hard sell. They don't need to. If they're selling a good product, they won't give you a hard sell. Let me take that back and amend that slightly. Yeah. If they're giving you a hard sell, they don't have a great product. But if you've got a good product, all you have to do is present that product and back away. That customer will sell themselves the better portion of the time. And I bought a lot of stuff because, well, I mean, everything was perfect. The products were great, the customer service was impeccable, and they didn't give me the hard sale. If you try to push me too hard, I'm walking out. So I was rather impressed. I was hoping to get back there. I had a couple of other opportunities, but then something else always came up that kept me from getting there. And this year, I was hoping to get there earlier this year, but again, things kept things kept happening, man. So I would like to get back there. I don't know if I'll get back there this year or not, but at some point I will because I really enjoyed it. I'd like to get back to that St. Louis area in general because we haven't been there, and I don't know since 2018, I think. St. Louis is a tough town for us to visit, even though I like a lot of places. There's just a lot of memories that are hard to deal with. So, anyways, but I digress. I'm going to finish this off here. This is the Pinckney Bend Rusted Whiskey. And I'm going to finish up my Next Evolution Anniversary Ale from Banter Brewing right here in Springfield, Missouri. 11%. Yeah, they ain't playing around, man. Here's my thing. A barley wine really, really, really ought to be a minimum of 10. Uh, I've had some good ones at less than that, but to label something a barley wine, I like to see 10% minimum on there. And this one at 11 is not messing around. And although you can feel some alcohol in there, you can. It's 11%. You should. It doesn't get to boozy. Because to me, boozy, if you use the term boozy, it means it's unpleasant, it's flawed. If it feels too boozy for the percentage that it is, you should feel some alcohol. It is 11%. But it fits within the style. The beer just comes together so impeccably well. It's just absolutely gorgeous. So, anyways, I digress. But I digress, man. I'm Tom the Whiskey Whisperer, Whiskey Evangelist, prolific whiskey drinker, purveyor of wisdom, man. I'm also Tom the Beer Whisperer, beer evangelist, prolific beer drinker, purveyor of wisdom, man. All right, good guys. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I appreciate it.